with dusting off the bookshelves, and then I gotta figure out what I want to do because I don't really have a game plan. When we initially were planning to get these bookshelves, I don't know why, I like imagine them taller, so I wanted them to go here to kind of break off this space between our living room and our kitchen because it's like open concept or whatever. Getting it in here, seeing that they're shorter than I was expecting, I don't really know if this is the best place for it. Because yes, in a way it still does break up the two rooms, but if I'm standing up, I can still very clearly see over it into the kitchen. So I'm like, that's not really a wall. I don't know. This is where we're gonna be for now. I think also the couch is gonna be moved back a little bit, so there won't be this overlap here, but for today's purposes, it's gonna stay there. There are some things, I have like a lot of yarn behind the couch. So when we were planning to get these, the idea was that the old bookshelf, we would move all of the books onto these two bookshelves, get rid of the old bookshelf, have more space. But looking at the old bookshelf, I'm like, I think we can fill this, but keep the old bookshelf, because I think with the amount of books that we have right now, yeah, we could cram it all to fit in this bookshelf and like other little places, but I also think we could honestly fill all three. So that being said, I think we're just adding bookshelves. We're not removing, even though the whole point was to remove a bookshelf to make more space, but that's not what we're doing anymore. The thing that I'm thinking is that I might want to do filming in front of these bookshelves because there's decent lighting, there's a window shining, it's comfy for me to sit like this, talking in front of the bookshelves. So that being said, if I would be filming in front of these, I definitely want it to be representative of either books that I have read and like, and also books that are like on my upcoming TBR, things that I'm really excited for. Because one thing about my personal library is that it does not consist, like it's not a museum of every book that I've ever loved. Mostly books that I'm interested in, not secondhand, and I think I might like it. But I don't think looking at my library in totality is gonna tell you like kind of books that I like. It's more what kind of books am I potentially interested in. But it's a revolving door around here. Like I have secondhand books that I bought years ago and I just gave away and never read them. It happens. It happens. Because I get so many books secondhand, I'm more willing to take a risk and bring it into my home, my personal library, to see if I ever get the call to pick it up. And if I don't, that's totally fine. It can move on its way. This is a TBR. I actually won this in a giveaway. I'm very excited to read this, as I am all of the trad wife books that are coming out this year, next year, a few that came out last year. It's just all the rage right now. If you know of any other trad wife books that are happening, please let me know what I'm missing, because I'm sure there are more. Then we have Rouge by Mona Awad. Now this is not a book that is like, yes, it's technically on my immediate TBR because it's a book that I'm in the middle of, but I soft DNF'd it and I did not love it thus far. I'm on page 67. But I was reading this for a video and I do still want to complete that video. So technically, yes, it is on my immediate TBR. However, I was not loving it. Then we have A Beast Slinks Towards Beijing by Alice Evelyn Yang, and this is 100% on my immediate TBR. However, it just keeps being pushed back in terms of timing, but I'm very excited and I do really want to read this book. It's another book that I've started and then soft DNF. Not at any fault of the book, more so just me, I guess. Maybe I can break these up. Ooh, okay. I can, some of these, if they're on my immediate TBR due to different video ideas, I can separate them by video ideas. So Rouge and If I Had Your Face go together because these were for a video idea about the beauty industry, and I read some of the books for it and then got sidetracked and did not read the rest of the books for it, and that's why that keeps being pushed off. So Ravishing by Ashani Surya and Youth Juice by E.K. Sathu are also from that video. Youth Juice I have read. Honestly, when I say I got sidetracked, it was literally because Rouge like low-key put me in a little bit of a slump, and that's why I did not return back to that. Now, Rabbit Fox Tar by P.C. Veroni. It's a book that I highly anticipate will be a 5-star read, but from there I decided to do a 5-star reading vlog because there are other books that I really also believe that I will love and might be a 5-star. So I think I should put those together as well. So A Beast Slinks Towards Beijing is one of those. So that can go there. Now, The Intrigue by Sylvia Moreno Garcia. I always want to say Grace. I don't know where I'm getting Grace from, but I always want to say Sylvia Moreno Grace. Wrong. I don't know if I want arcs to go somewhere specific, like all together, mostly all together. Because yeah, this is like a straight up advanced reader copy. It's not just like a finished copy that was sent to me early. So I don't like how it disappears to the side. So we can put that there. Which is more visible? Do you feel like the top shelf is more visible or the middle shelf? Because I want these books to be on the most visible shelf. Or maybe it should be my favorite books on the most visible. We'll just keep going and see what shakes out. Also, the plan, especially since these aren't as tall as I'd like them to, I want more big plants up here. So I have 2 of my bigger plants up there right now. This is the perfect excuse for me to get this Monstera Thai constellation, or yeah, the Thai constellation, because they had it at Kroger for $40 and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that. But I kept pushing it off. But now I'm like, girl, you deserve it. So maybe I can get that and that can go up there. This is the first book that I finished for my 5-star prediction video, and I'm not gonna say what I rated it because I don't want to spoil the video for you, but just know. So this goes here with the 5-star predictions. We have To Catch a Sinner, which goes along with The Intrigue as one of the Book Sparks books. Recently came into new secondhand books. I went to a little free library, I participated in a book swap, and then also an old coworker gave me some of their old books. So some of these things, they're kind of scattered across the apartment right now. First thing that I got in a little free library was The Song of Achilles, and this is a favorite, so this can go on the shelf. I read this twice. If I read it this year, it would become a book that I read like every year. Because I think for 2024 and 2025, I read this in December. So if I read this again in December 2026, we'd be starting a nice little, family tradition. Okay, be honest with me. When you get a new secondhand book, what do you do before adding it to your library? Some people like freeze the book, they quarantine it, maybe just checking it, and as long as it's up to your standards, let me know. What do you guys do? Because I just felt a little weird putting that Song of Achilles on my shelf. Not gonna lie. Penance is one of my favorites in some ways. Eliza Clark is definitely an auto-buy author for me, but the further away that I've gotten from this book, from my reading experience, I have found more flaws with it. There's so much that I really do love, but sometimes I do feel a little weird about calling it one of my favorites because I do find some faults, I suppose. Still really like Eliza Clark. I love this book like so much in the moment, and I think about it all the time, but sometimes when I think about it, I'm a little more critical than I was when I first read this a few years ago. Sula by Toni Morrison, absolute favorite, 5-star read. You go up here, girl. I have a few books that I have not read, but I think that I could like. Never Let Me Go, Sour Heart. This from James McBride, and honestly, I have no idea what this particular book is, but it was at the little free library, and I recognized the author's name from, I think it's Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, and that's a book that I really have been interested in, so I was like, well, I'll just grab this and see what this author's all about, but I can't lie and say that I know what's going on in here, because I don't. Then we have Tuesdays with Morrie, which, if I'm going to be honest, this is probably one of those books that I grabbed because I felt like I heard a lot about it, and then I'm never going to be called to pick it up, and then it will end up back in another little free library, the same place that I got it, which is totally fine. I am feeling a little grossed out by it, because there's some stuff on it, So, but generally speaking, it just seems it's really short, small. It has a little over, no, less than 200 pages, and I've just heard good things about it. But I will say that the people that I've heard good things about it from are not necessarily even people who have similar reading tastes as me. So maybe that's a fault on my part, you know, but sometimes you see something and you go, oh my God, I've heard of that, and you grab it because it's free. Two favorites, Lapvona and the Virgin Suicides. I got this copy secondhand because the copy that I read it from was a library copy, and I really wanted to own my own copy of it. So there's that. Lapvona, this is not mine. I don't own this. A friend let me borrow it. And I never gave it back. So it's here. Kind of similarly to Tuesdays with Maury, one of the books that I got at the book swap was The Troop, because there's a particular person that I've just seen praise this book so much, like singing its praises from the rooftop. And me and this person, like, I don't feel 100% that we have, like, we're not at a point where they recommend something and I instantly have to drop everything and get it. So I don't know why this stood out to me so much. But when I was there at the book swap, I was talking about how horror books haven't really scared me, and I really do want that experience of feeling scared by a horror book. And there was this couple that was there, and they're like, well, then you gotta pick this up. So those two things combined, hearing that glowing review online plus someone in person telling me that this is what I should pick up, I did it. Like, this entire video is me realizing that I have poor impulse control when it comes to books, or at least secondhand books, because I'm talking about some of my decisions and I'm like, come on, girl, did you have to do that? Because once again, another silly decision by me, I got the second book in the Legendborn series. This is from the book swap. I actually soft DNF'd the first because when I was reading it, it wasn't really doing anything for me. Not to say that I was disliking it, but it just wasn't really engrossing me. But I got the second book regardless. Because in my head, I was like, if I pick it up and I finish it, and if I do end up loving it, won't it be so nice to already have the book for free? Wouldn't it be so nice to be able to finish and they go, oh my God, I need to pick up Bloodmarked right now. And guess what? It's right here. We have some short story collections, which technically should go in a pile of for a video, because I have a video series on reading short stories called Slow Mornings, Quick Reads. These can all go together for sure. I don't know if this is their final resting place, but this is where I'm going to put them for right now. We have two more advanced copies. About a month ago, I went to a bookstore out of town. I don't really know what happened to this bag, but everything's just been sitting in here because I haven't integrated them into my shelves yet with my other books. I think a lot of modern satire on race and specifically Black identity probably built upon this. Like, I feel like a lot of authors that are either on my TBR or books that we have read in the past in the Weird Black Girl Book Club could probably cite this book as something that they read or gave some sort of inspiration to, you know, what the kind of things that we're interested in reading. So I felt like, how could I not read this? American Rapture by CJ Lead. I really liked Mayfly when I read it, I think back in 2023, but that is another book, like even more so than Penance, that looking back at it, I'm like, I don't think that was as good as I remember it being. However, that's totally fine, because in the moment I really loved it, and that's all that matters. But I still am very interested in reading more from this author. So this was a used copy in a bookstore. Really have been wanting to get into Mia Mackenzie, and I'm 99% sure that the Kinfolk Lit Fest that's happening in Indy next year, I think they just announced that Mia Mackenzie is going to be one of the authors that are there. Let me fact check that, but I think so. And then also I have The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. This book, Tailbone, which I also got secondhand from that bookstore when I was out of town. This was not something that was already on my radar. It just stood out to me. I remember reading the book jacket and it seemed really interesting, but I'm not going to read it again. right now, because whenever I pick it up, like, I know that when I bought it, I found it interesting, so I don't need to remind myself, so that later on when I pick it up, it can be a surprise, you know? Because it's been a month and I already forgot what this is about, but I can trust my past self to know that it was something that was interesting.